So, hey, Niv, how you feeling about the raise? You did a tremendous job of, presenting the firm to us, and firm's convinced that Noma is the market leader in cybersecurity and AI. How are we doing today?
Pretty excited. It's pretty amazing. I think that what really excites me, it's not the race by the race, but the horizon that we see that we are running towards. And I think that everything that we've done so far that got us to this point, that now we can accelerate 10x, even faster, with your partnership and with everybody that we have together with us, including our customers and our partners. I think that this is one of the biggest opportunity that we've seen in the cybersecurity industry. I think this is one of the most transformative technology that we had, and to be a real element and to help all of us in the world to adopt these kinds of technology faster and in a secure way. Truly couldn't be more excited about it.
That's awesome. We've been investing in cybersecurity and AI for over a decade. And initially it was kind of detection and response capabilities that were enhanced by AI. And then that kind of moved into a more advanced phase of detection and response. And now, since large language models and AI has been a core component of every organization's infrastructure, the need for a dedicated platform, end-to-end platform, going from secure by design to runtime to agentic to red teaming, is mission critical for every organization. Our view is that Noma is the end-to-end platform to do it. You guys nailed it in terms of delivering what CISOs want, or CISOs want, however we want to talk about it, to organizations. Talk about your thoughts on that in terms of where you are now, where you're going, and how we get to that continual innovation that will bring to CISOs exactly what they need to manage their risk on that sort of AI attack surface.
I think you touched in two super important points. The first one is the obvious one, which is the new kind of technology. There is a new kind of technology. The technology is completely different, in a lot of different elements, completely regardless to security, but it follows by new kind of security risk that involves it's part of adopting this new kind of technology. And of course, this new kind of technology, all the classic cybersecurity tools are not fit to it in order to secure it, and it requires a new solution. But in addition, you mentioned, and as you should, the evolvement of, in general, the cybersecurity platforms for every kind of technology. We saw it in the past, a lot of time, you had different kind of niche solutions. You had for the cloud, something for the runtime, and you'll have something for visibility, and you'll have something for posture management. But we see that the industry goes to a direction of consolidation. And what we would like to do is not only to help organizations to adopt AI in a secure way, but we wanted to build already a platform that what we call will be consolidated by design. That start from the beginning, we will already learned all the lessons from other categories in security. We already know that the CISO and the security leaders that report to the CISO, they want to have a consolidated platform. And this is why we started start from day one, covering the entire life cycle, the entire AI platform. It means that we provide full visibility and discovery, also helping with governance to help the CISO to understand what models do I have, what agents do I have, what tool set these agents have, what is the blast radius of the potential risk that I have in the organization. The second is the risk management, the secure by design, as you mentioned, truly to understand even before I deploy anything, how can I control the risk? Either if it's through misconfiguration in my infrastructure or the supply chain, or the new kind of agents over permissive access and the excessive agency, etc. Testing all these different stuff before I deploy them, either if it's by my engineers that build AI applications, or even by everybody in the organization now that build also no-code agents on ServiceNow or Copilot Studio or Agentforce or any other platform. And the last element is also the runtime protection, the detection and response. We want to make sure that we truly understand what happens in real time, what tool set, what kind of actions my agents are doing right now, to make sure that all the prompts and the responses are also scanned to make sure that no sensitive data is being leaked, or that there are no any kind of AI adversarial attacks. When you combine everything together to one platform, it gives you double advantage. First, because you are truly covered. Like you have X plus Y plus Z. But in addition to that, you have all the context between these pillars that like plays together that provide you like, makes each of the pillars stronger because it has like the other one like next to it. If you know not only how to detect prompt injection in real time, but if you know also like to understand the context and to understand that this specific model also has access to sensitive data, and you know to triage accordingly the alert, it provides you like different level of detection. And if you're able to see that someone tries to make a specific agent to run code, but because of the context, we already understand that this agent doesn't have even the toolset, and like this agent is not able to run any code, it will just be false positive. And this is how we know also like to reduce these kinds of like false positives. So I think that like the idea of having first a dedicated platform and solution for AI security, because this technology is truly different and it requires different kind of solution. And in addition, to bring the solution already as consolidated by design platform, I think this is what the market really shows us that it needs, and what our partners like ask us for, and the main reason that we see like this level of traction grow so fast.
Hey, that's awesome. So we're in fabulous Las Vegas at Black Hat 2025, and you've been kind of walking the floor with all the chief security officers, kind of, engaging with you. What are you hearing from them in terms of, the areas that they're concerned about most today, what they're looking at tomorrow, and how you solve that, how you effectively bridge that, gap in an organization today that is deploying AI, but, kind of has bits and pieces of security layer that might protect them, but doesn't have the real deal, the full package, the end-to-end platform. What are they telling you? And, where do you see that going, that kind of discussion going over the next 6 months?
Yeah. So I think like we hear three main things from CISOs. The first one, that in a very positive and good way, they are like feeling in the top of their career in the level of business enablement that they are responsible for. Like they truly like one of like the biggest pharmas like in the US, one of our customers, the CISO there like told me like recently, I was invited like to the board meeting and to talk about like how we are able like now to deploy AI and specifically agent like securely. And he told me, Niv, for the first time I felt like the most important like person like in the room, and not because of like security, but because of the business. Like everybody like looked at me and like they told me, you are like now like the number one like responsible for making sure that we truly can accelerate everything that happens like in our enterprise. And it was amazing. It was amazing for him. It was amazing also like for me like to hear it, because I know like how significant we were in their process like to truly like to enable like the AI agents. So I think that the business impact of the technology of AI and agents is so significant that CISOs becoming a true business key players in the enterprise. The second is specifically about agents. I think that like we see these days like a lot of focus about agents. I will say that they still like we see like from the market, and I fully agree with like all our partners that like tell us so, is that agent is not like completely separated like topic from AI. It is at the end of the day the extension of AI. Like when organizations want to have AI security or like agent security platform, they want to make sure that they cover like both elements together. Like you don't know a separate solution for AI and for agents. It's just like a classic expansion. If until now you wanted like visibility to all the different like models and data pipeline that train these models, etc., now you also have like to understand what agents you have and what tools that this agent has access to, etc. But it's sort of like the same story. If you wanted to cover the supply chain and you wanted to check a open source model from Hugging Face, now you also want to check MCP servers.
Yeah.
But again, it's like the same principles. And also like in the runtime, until now, like you cover all the prompts, responses, and scan everything that happens in your AI application. Now, in case there are agents, you want to get also like the much like broader picture. You want to also like to understand what tool sets like this agent, what tool calls this agent make, etc. So I think that the agent extension is something like pretty critical that like we hear a lot from the field. And I think that like the main thing that we hear like from our partners is that it's kind of like weird, but the main thing that we hear from our partners is that they need a trusted partner because they don't know what to come. We've never seen a technology that moves so fast.
Absolutely.
Like so dynamic.
Absolutely.
And we hear from CISOs, like they tell us, I don't know what will be in 6 months. 6 months ago, I didn't know to ask you, Niv, about MCP, and I didn't know to ask you about agents. We decided to go with Noma because we see the pace of innovation and how fast you react to everything that we need in the market. And this is how I know that when I have something new in 6 months from now, the new MCP that I don't know to require now because like it doesn't even like exist, I know that you like you'll have my back. I know that like with Noma, like you like the full platform like will cover me. I think this is like one of the main things that like we hear, that like CISOs understand that in this dynamic domain, they need the leading partner with them and not only a current solution because everything is changing so fast.
Absolutely. And Evolution Equity Partners was thrilled to back $100 million Series B round in the market leader in AI security to do precisely that, to help you build a platform that not only addresses today's concerns around AI and cyber, but actually looks 3 to 5 years ahead and is able to position itself to address all of those concerns and potential vulnerabilities in protocols that may not even exist today, but will exist over the next couple of years. But when you think about agentic, a lot of discussion about how the agentic layer, autonomous agents will in some way displace applications going forward. And when you think about that, daunting in terms of what that potentially could present for security providers like Noma. How do we address that? How do you address it today? And to the degree that you can kind of see what's coming down the pipe, how are you addressing that tomorrow to ensure that, we're able to deliver that peace of mind for chief security officers as you described?
For sure. So I think the principle, even so that the implementation is completely different, I think that like the principles of security are still exist here. It means that the first thing, you want to understand what you have in the organization. So you want even to control what kind of agents I currently have. It can be application agents that your engineer builds through cloud providers like Bedrock and SageMaker, through frameworks like LangChain, etc. And it can be also like business agents, no-code agents that everybody in the organization now start to build over agents for ServiceNow, Copilot Studio, etc., Glean, and more. Now, it's not only like in order to truly have the full visibility, you want to have not only what agents you have, but also the context. The context is what kind of agents, what kind of tools these agents have. And then the second element is to control what we call the blast radius, to make sure that the enterprise policies that you have in the organization are met, to make sure that you don't have an agent with admin permission, like to everything in the organization that is being like shared with everybody, or to make sure that you don't have an agent that can run destructive actions like writing code and stuff like that, that also opened with a link to everybody to be able like to communicate with. So we have a lot of different controls that you want to take even like before you get into the runtime monitoring itself. And the third element is also like what you touched, it's like the runtime monitoring and detection response itself. Here I think that like we're getting into a pretty exciting new area because it's not only that you want to track security risk in the runtime, you also want to start and track something that we call a business anomaly in the organization. You want to understand if now an agent started a conversation, let's say a support agent started a conversation with Richard, and at the end of the conversation, it ends by refund Niv, something like business anomaly, like something like it's a bit like weird here. And I see that like with agents that are practically like new kind of employees that we have all over like the organization, we need first to make sure that they're like on track, that everything there is reasonable. And in addition, that we also protect them, because people will try, like people today, like try to manipulate our employees by phishing or like during like a support chat and stuff like that. They will try also like to manipulate our new employees. They will try to manipulate our like new agents. So we also need not only to make sure that the agent doesn't do any mistake, but also that we protect our agent, that we help our agent to be secure from different attackers. Today, in specifically like building agents, we truly see for the first time that everybody in the enterprise become a builder. Because it's not only the engineers that build agents through a Bedrock or a LangChain or any other framework. Now we have all the no-code agents over agents for ServiceNow, Copilot Studio, etc. That we see that truly like the level of adoption is something that we've never seen before. I can tell you that like the biggest financials, the biggest pharma, like a lot of the big enterprises that we see, they tell us we've never seen this kind of level of adoption. In one of the big financial institutions that we work with, they enabled the Copilot Studio feature, and they told us that they didn't yet announce internally to the organization. So we are not supposed to find any kind of agents yet. On the following day, we already detected more than 200 agents running like in the enterprise, because it's so easy. Because it's so easy and like the value is so high, we see that like people start to build.
Yeah.
Now, I think that something very interesting that we see is that for the first time, Salesforce is the new AWS. If until now on cloud, you had the model of shared responsibility, meaning that AWS, let's say, or Azure, they take care of the infrastructure, but everything that you build on top of that, this is your risk, this is your responsibility because you built it. We don't know what kind of like new vulnerabilities you put there. Until now on SaaS, like Salesforce or ServiceNow, we didn't have really this like element of shared responsibility because they provided you like the whole platform and they provide you like all the security. But now for the first time, you become a builder on this platform. Now for the first time in Salesforce, you have shared responsibility because your employees are the one that like build these agents. The employees are the one that provide its agent the ability to refund your customer or to execute code. And in addition, they also like open it like to the internet so everybody with a link to this agent can communicate with this. And now for the first time, we see that SaaS is becoming cloud, that it's becoming a building platform. And when we say that we secure the entire enterprise AI, it meaning the entire enterprise AI. It means everything that you build. It doesn't mean if it's through like engineering or it's also like through by your financial team or legal team that like using these no-code agents.
That's awesome. I mean, we invested in Noma because, best of breed team, great technology, massive market, right? In those three areas, you guys just nailed it in terms of comparison to anybody out there. So as you move forward and you build this platform, what do you think about the type of people that you bring on? Whether it's a sales rep or a head of sales or a CISO that you just brought in, what are the characteristics of the type of people that you want to have on board, which is going to be a tremendous journey over the next couple of years. And this category will grow so fast. You're going to need the right people around you. You already have that. But how do you build upon that and kind of get to, that target that we have of being clearly the market leader over the next 5 years in a sort of multi-$100 billion market?
So I think like this week, actually, it's amazing example. This week, two new leaders joined us. First is the one that you just mentioned, the CISO, Diana Kelly, and in addition, also Mavi, that was the global director of customer success in the Wiz, and just joined us. First, for us, like we're really like humble and privileged and happy to see that like the leaders in like great companies that already like proved themselves. And they know the best how to detect and to notice the next winners decide like to join us. But in addition, I can also like say like you see like a lot of common when you look at this kind of hiring. You see people that are the cliche of like customer success. For them, it's not a cliche. Like they're truly like this is their driver. On the first conversation that I had with Diana. And we talked about like the CISO role, and I think that like CISO in the security vendors, it has like a lot of different shapes. Sometimes it's something that is more like internal, sometimes it's more like external. People take it to marketing, people take it like to sales. And Diana told me something that I understood that this is like the right culture and like we have like the right feature. She told me, Niv, like I want to be open. I don't want to be a seller. Like I don't want to close deals. I don't want to be even like measured about that. I want sincerely to help security leaders, like this is what I'm doing like in the last like 30 years. I want to continue and help security leaders with their challenges. And specifically in this industry, it much more excites me because this is like the biggest technology revolution that I've seen. And if I'm able to like to help like the CISO like to enable this technology in their enterprises, this is what I want to do in this stage of my career. And then I understood that like this is truly what drives her. What drives us is truly our customer like success. And I think this is something that was really like significant in Diana, as well as Mavi. If you see Mavi's interaction with like, she doesn't even want like to say, and I love it, like she never say like customers, she say only like partners. When you see like a relationship with her partners, you just see this light, like you just see something that like is different. You see like a true partnership, a real conversation. She truly cares about like their result in their like organization, completely regardless of Noma. And I think this is something that is a core element in Noma. And I think that specifically in such a dynamic domain, it's more important than ever, because we understand that our product will keep evolving all the time, because the technology keeps moving all the time. If we will save all the time our like North Star of truly just provide and just to be like the real partners and back to our customers, to our partners, I think this will be like one of the most important elements for success in the long term for Noma.
Well, that's awesome, because Evolution Equity Partners partnered with Noma because of what the people that we met bring to the table. You know, when I met you and learned about you, I learned about an entrepreneur who had the persistence, the grit, the desire to win and to nail it. And that, you know, is foundational. And when you have a leader like Niv and you build upon that with the people like the Diana that you're bringing on and all the other people that surround you, it's just infectious, you know, and that's the wonderful thing about backing great founders like you. We're honored to back Noma Security, and it's really been a pleasure already to work with you. And, you know, it's going to be a tremendous ride over the next couple of years in helping you and bringing you the experience that we have. But you're the man. You're the real deal. You're going to make it happen, and we're really excited.
Likewise, like, and that was like one of the things that we're humble and like privileged, like to be in a situation that like we had a lot of different like offers. The number one reason that like for me, I'm super excited to work with Evolution and with you specifically, like Richard, is the level of hunger. Like I really saw like a partner that is hungry like me to go and build big. Like we have like a super unique opportunity here. It's not every year, not every 5 years that you have such a level of like technology, like revolution, and something that like truly like disrupt like the market, regardless of security. The technology itself, like the potential business impact is like absolutely huge. And to take this opportunity and to build an iconic company, something that truly like matters in this world, something that like truly like created like an impact to all the biggest like enterprises in the industry, this is something that like you need to be crazy hungry for in order to go big. And I think that like with Evolution, I truly felt that if we're not here like for like small or like a medium or like a medium plus term like a company, we want to build big. We want to be the winner. We want to build something that truly matters for years forward. And for me, it was something super meaningful.
Hey, it's an honor. You know, somebody asked me, is 100 million the new Series B? And I said, yes, if you're going to build a market category leader in the most disruptive segment, $100 million Series B is appropriate to be able to do that. And again, we're excited and honored to back this wonderful team.